Hey guys, we are here with Darryl DMC Mcdaniels. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really good. This con has been awesome this year. This is my fourth year.
Fourth year, wow.
Yeah, I've been here. I'm a vet now.
Yeah, and so you created a comic book series.
Yes.
Can you tell me about it?
Yes, well, before hip hop came into Queens, New York, over the bridge from the Bronx, before 1970s rock radio, all I did as a little kid was buy, collect, read, and draw comic books. That's all I did. I went to Catholic school my whole life. And comic books was my release from the tragic reality of this universe trying to grow up and be a little kid. So that being said, comic books did two things for me. Because I was reading comic books every day, it made me an excellent student.
Right?
Even at a time when the teachers was like, the kids shouldn't be reading comic books. They need to read the textbooks and workbooks, which is true. But they overlooked the fact that I was reading every day made me a good student. Now, the real powerful thing that they did for me was spark my imagination and my creativity, which prepared me for what was about to become with the hip hop. So that being said, everything that I was getting out the comic books, when hip hop came to Queens, I was like, oh shoot, you could tell stories over music about who you are. So I was creating a super-powered being that was the most powerful entity in the hip-hop universe. So comic books inspired me to be creative. And all of the visuals, ideas, storytelling, character creations, the use of language, pronunciation, and all of that set me up to be so dynamic. As the mighty king of rock, there is none higher. Sucker MCs should call me sire. That empowered me and let me know what abilities that I had. So about 3 years ago, I went for a music meeting. And I was meeting a young man named Riggs Morales, who was head guy up at Atlantic Records. And before I sat down in the meeting, he said, D, I'm usually supposed to be all about business. And he used these words, you was like a superhero to me, man. The way you was growing up in your rhymes and all of that. And he asked me, what was it like when I was a little kid? And I told him, well, I went to Catholic school my whole life and all I did was read comic books. He was like, comic books? So for 3 hours, we didn't talk about music. We talked about comic books. We had a lot in common. And he convinced me to do a comic book. And he said, hello, he said, everything you've done with your music for the last 35 years, you can do that and more with a comic book. So 3 years ago, we started the Darryl Makes Comics Publishing Company to do and be entertain, inspire, motivate, and educate, and do the same things that Marvel and DC has done to us for many generations.
And did you ever think now you'd be like creating something like this, or you always been like, no, I'm just gonna be staying in music?
I never thought I would do a comic book. And when Riggs said, what happened was, Riggs said, yo, you should do a comic book, and then he took me to the New York City Comic Con.
Wow.
3 years ago. And when I walked in there, it was like, oh my God, like just everything that I am was realized. You know, all the comic books that I had as a kid, all the TV shows that I had as a kid. Star Wars, I'm a huge fan of. The Walking Dead, I'm a huge fan of. Fred Flintstone, Woody Woodpecker, all the toys that I had as a little kid. All of those things I realized, those ain't things that I used to love. Those are things that I love, and those things are me now. Like, I tell people now, whatever it is that you're attracted to, because we all are products of pop culture. Comic books, movies, TV shows, and cartoons. So I am the Addams Family, the Monsters, Fred Flintstone's, Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Star Wars, Bruce Lee, the Transformers, I'm all of that. But I realized that things that you're attracted to, if it's a particular comic book, a character, or whatever it is, those things weren't made for you. They were made because of you. Because you exist, those things exist. Even when you look at the word make-believe, everybody look down upon us geeks and nerds because you're into that corny make-believe stuff. But look at the word make-believe, make-believe, make-believe. We make the world believe that it's real. They're looking from the outside, that's fantasy and pretend. But to us, it's real because it does exist. Why does it exist? Because you exist. So when Rick said, you can do for other people what those, Stan Lee created a monster. I was a big Marvel guy. So he said, you can do what Stan Lee has done for you. So that was a huge inspiration, and that gave me motivation, and that gave me a purpose.
Now, do you think you'll be maybe going to film with your comic books, since like Stan Lee did that too as well?
Yes. Right now, we want to be known for having dope comic books. Our comic books are incredible. Our comic books are awesome, and right now it's working. So eventually we want to do cartoons, we want to do animation, we want to do live action, we want to do television series and series, all of that. So at this point in age, we don't want to do it because everybody else is doing it. We want to do it because people think the characters, the universe, and the stories are good. We're not in this to be commercialized, suck out all the energy and fun and value just to make money. One of the things that we said when we created the comic book, we want to do it with integrity. So my comic book, for if you're 6 years old or if you're 6 million years old, you can read my comic book, and it's a tribute and a celebration of what makes all comic books likable. And that being said, those other mediums, TV, film, animation, cartoons, and stuff like that, is something that should be utilized, but we're not going to jump on the bandwagon until people start saying, yo, the comics is good, we love the characters, we love the superheroes. Right now, we got the DMC superhero, which was the first superhero introduced. And it's, you know, it's a good thing to use me, but I don't want a million issues with my boring behind. I'm just the first superhero in the DMC universe. The second superhero in the universe is a 16-year-old Latina girl. And then and then the third issue is another Latina girl. And now we didn't do that for the sake of diversity. When we create the books, it's like when I create a song. I'm gonna do a song about poverty. So I come up with the beat, which is the theme and the feel and the vibe of it, and then I start writing my rhymes. As I go along, the characters, the words, and the situations become dominant, and just organically. After we created DMC as the lead superhero, this 16-year-old girl personality jumped off the pages at us, and we created it. So she had the qualities to be a superhero. And then in the third issue, the same thing about Angelique. Lac 6 is the first 16-year-old Latina superhero, because in school she's a wizard. And she has drive, she has confidence, so those are superhero qualities. And the third girl in the third book, the third superhero, Angelique, her resilience, her determination to survive in the inner city was on some supernatural proportions. So they got elected to be the second and third superheroes. And we're going to be very diverse. We're going to have, you know, I might have an old man superhero. You haven't seen that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we might have a grandfather superhero that's badass. But so far we're doing good, and we definitely want to do what everybody's doing.
And is there any other projects you're doing?
Yes. Let's talk about some music. On November 24th, Record Store Day, I'm putting out a 4-song vinyl EP. The name of it is Back from the Dead. It's 4 songs. Me and my band, Darryl's Music Company, the DMC band. There's a record called Back from the Dead. That's me and my band. There's a record called Flames, which is about all the shootings that's been going on. The white cops killing black people, but also the black people killing black people. So it's about all the shootings going on. That's a song called Flames, produced by John Moyer from the rock band Disturbed. And it's me doing a duet with Miles Kennedy, one of the greatest voices in rock and roll. Then we have another song called Coming Like a Rhino, produced by a rock band out of Montreal, Canada, named Slaves on Dope. And that's me featuring Chuck D of Public Enemy.
Wow.
And then the third song is called High and Low. produced by Jared Lee Gosselin, who's an incredible producer, and it's me in a duet with Rome from Sublime.
Nice.
And here's the killer. The EP, the album artwork is the album's called Back from the Dead. The artwork is done by Tony Moore, the legendary Tony Moore, who did the art in the Walking Dead graphic novel.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
will we ever
coming.
see like a soundtrack that goes with your comics?
Yes, everybody was telling me I need to start putting music with it. So what I'm gonna start doing is, as I do let me show the people what it is. This is how it looks. It's really cool because I have some of the best artists and writers, inkers, pencilers, and letterers in the game. And we use real graffiti artists.
Nice.
Like we do the whole book, and then I have a real graffiti artist do the book. There you go. So what I think I'm gonna start doing is start putting. I think I'm gonna add singles, like a song.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start adding a song with the release of with each release.
That would
of
be
each
awesome.
edition.
I love when
Thank
comic
you.
books
She
do
just
that.
Tiffany just gave me a wonderful idea. People had mentioned it to me, but sometimes it takes 3 or 4 times for something to really come into fruition. Thank you for that. It'll be cool, and people want the music.
Yeah, because sometimes I read comics and then I have to listen to music, and sometimes the music goes with the comics.
Yes,
so it
just
sticks with
because.
me.
So yeah, I mean, I can make music all day. I'm gonna do that. Yes.
Great, awesome. All right, thank you for your time. Looking forward to more of your work, and also you will look for your album as
Yes,
well.
it's
You release.
coming.
So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for your time.
Thank you. Oh, you can find me. I keep forgetting. My Twitter is DMC Makes Comics, but I have a personal Twitter. No, my Instagram is DMC Makes Comics. My Instagram is King DMC, and my Twitter is The King DMC because I get mixed up.
All right, cool. Be sure to look out for that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.